What's up, guys? Leaf right here. Welcome to 623 Football Talk. And if you've followed me in the past, you'll notice I haven't put out a video in a while, and I'm getting back into it. So this is my first video, and today is an exciting day for the Arizona Cardinals, as it is the next phase as far as rebuilding their team, coming off the 2023 season where they only won 4 games, but they looked a lot better than they had in 2022, even though the win total didn't change. The team overall just looked a lot better, even though it was glaringly obvious they were lacking in a lot of areas, specifically on the defensive front. And that is something they did address today in the first day of the legal tampering for free agencies, where they can officially kind of talk to players and start offering them deals. Nothing comes official till 4 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, but for the most part, this stuff is pretty much done. Wednesday is more or less just the formality. So anyways, guys, we're going to get into it and talk about what the Cardinals did today on the first day of the legal tampering period. All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to be talking about the things the Arizona Cardinals did today on the first day of the legal tampering period, and I'm very happy with what they did. I'm not gonna lie, initially I was getting a little worried because it seemed like it was very eerily similar to the 2023 offseason, where they didn't do a lot in free agency. And there's people coming off the board, even though Christian Wilkins I don't think was really an option for them. I don't think they were wanting to spend that kind of money on one player, because they have so many holes, so many needs, that it just price versus return probably just wasn't really worth it. So obviously he came off the board. Pass rusher from Texas from the Texans came off the board. Jonah Jackson, the guard, came off the board from the Lions. So he was linked to the Cardinals. So it's like, man, there's a lot of things a lot of players come off the board and they haven't done a thing. And then they started it off with signing a corner from Tennessee, Sean Murphy-Bunting. He had an okay season last year, had 2 interceptions. He's had 9 interceptions and 21 passes defensed in his whole career. He was drafted back in 2019. 2022, he had a very good year in Tampa Bay. So I think he's definitely going to be an upgrade of what we have. Plus, he's going to bring in some veteran leadership that could, maybe help out that room a little bit more. You can basically put him in, pen him, permanent marker, put him as one of your starters, either on the left or right side. I'm not sure, but it's a guy you can put in there, and he's got league experience. He's played in some high leverage games. He was on that Tampa Bay Super Bowl team, so he's going to bring a lot of valuable experience, and he's played decent throughout his career. He's not going to awe you with his name or anything like that, but it looks like he's going to be a more than capable player that they can bring in that's going to be effective. And Jonathan Gannon has made a lot of corners that weren't necessarily household names good players, because that's kind of he specializes in that secondary with corners and safety. So I think he might be able to get a little bit more out of this guy. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It was a position in need, something they needed to really upgrade was that cornerback room, along with that defensive line. And they didn't have to break the bank to get him. It was 3 years, $25.5 million, 17.5 guaranteed. So you're looking at a little over $8 million a year, give or take. So it's not a bad deal in my opinion. Some people on Twitter think it is a bad deal. It is what it is. You got to spend a little bit of money. You can't just keep rolling that money over from year to year. They had a lot of holes they had to fill, and they have to bring in guys, and they're going to pay them a little bit. But I'm glad to see that they didn't overspend on one guy, and they really couldn't bring anybody else in. So it's nice to see they got a corner. Hopefully they can get another one. Maybe they can get another in the draft. We'll kind of wait and see what happens. But definitely excited they brought in the corner, and they also brought in 2 D linemen. First one is Bile Nichols. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. He's coming here from the Raiders. Kind of knock on him that I've seen, he's only had 3 sacks in the past 2 seasons, so that's kind of concerning. But again, they'd have to overpay, and he's a big man. I think he's about I think it's like 6'3", 313. So he's a big defensive tackle, and that's a position that they needed to upgrade like desperately. They did bring back LJ Collier on a 1-year kind of prove it deal, vet minimum, because he got hurt at the very beginning of last year, so they never really had to see what he can do, and he's a former first round pick. So you add him And this guy, Nichols, his best year was back in 2020 with the Chicago Bears, where he had about 5 sacks. The past 2 years, again with the Raiders, he only had 3 sacks total. So, that might be concerning, but hopefully, with good coaching that he's going to get here, because I really have a lot of faith in the coaching staff they have on this team, and maybe they can get a little more out of him, and he can be, get closer to that 2020 form that he had, where he had 5 sacks. So again, and he was 3 years, $21 million. So again, $7 million a year, not really breaking the bank on this guy. So got another position of need, a capable guy that's been around, and he's still fairly young at 27 years old, so he still kind of fits your timeline for your rebuild. So again, you're adding more beef up front, which again they desperately need. If you watched any of these Cardinals games last year, you'll notice, especially like some of these teams like the Rams, when they played them the first time around, or when they played San Francisco, when those teams wanted to impose their will on this defense and just run it down their throat, they could not stop them. So I mean, this is desperately somewhere they needed to upgrade. They had Dante Stills, who was a rookie last year, who played very well as a rookie, but there was just, with all due respect to the other guys that they had, they were bringing in guys that, with all due respect, wouldn't probably, if the Cardinals weren't getting so many injuries on the D line, they probably would have been sitting on the couch. So it's just, they had really, it was a rough defensive line towards the end of the season, because they just really had nobody. And this guy they brought in from the Raiders, he's played, I think over his career he's only missed 5 games, and so he's got durability. He's consistently been out there and been playing, so that's definitely another great sign. And then the last defensive lineman they signed, his name's Justin Jones, coming here from Chicago. Coming in, he had 4.5 sacks this past season. Again, another big guy, I think he's about 6'3", 303, I think is what it is. Again, another guy's around 27 years old. Fits their timeline. They had to spend a little bit more on him. With him, they had to spend about 3 years, $31 million. So had to pay a little more for him, a little over $10 million a year for this guy. But again, he's been pretty productive. Had 4.5 sacks last year. Had, I think, 5 another season. He's had about 12 or 14 sacks throughout his career when I was checking his stats. So he's put up pretty decent numbers. But again, another big body they could put on that line. So now, just coming out of this first day of free agency, that defensive line already looks better. You have Dante Stills, who got a lot of valuable playing time as a rookie and played well as a rookie. You brought back LJ Collier before he got here, even though people say, yeah, it's the preseason. He was looking good in the preseason. Even in that first game against the Commanders, he was being disruptive. He was batting balls, and then he got hurt. And you just never really got to see how that would have panned out for him the rest of the season. So they brought him back. It's going to be a good rotational piece. I think they're going to tender Jonathan Ledbetter, and he was definitely a good rotational piece. And then you add Justin Jones, you add Nichols that they just brought in. That defensive line, that defensive front, sorry about that. That defensive front is looking a hell of a lot better. I'm super excited now just seeing what this defense, with better players on it. And this is just the first day. They still have money to go out and spend and pick up more pieces. I really would like to see them get another D lineman, maybe a linebacker on the offensive side of the ball. If we can get a good left guard, maybe I'm dreaming here by, asking for 3 or 4 more players, but I think that's something they can do, hopefully. I don't know how the money situation is going to work out. That's I'm not an expert when it comes to that stuff, but if they can get another D lineman in and maybe a middle linebacker to put next to Kaiser, and then you get maybe a starting caliber left guard, because Elijah Wilkinson, he just wasn't it. He played good at times, but then other times he just looked like a swinging door over there. So you gotta build that line and make sure you protect your franchise quarterback. So yeah, hopefully they can bring in at least 2 or 3 more guys, solidify that defensive line, and you have the draft coming up where they have so many picks. They have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. So you have a lot of inventory. You can bring in some guys as well as through the draft, and this team could be very competitive going into this year. We'll see. Everything. Free agency isn't a certain thing. The draft isn't a certain thing. But just looking at the possibilities of them already adding what they added today, and then throughout free agency, the possibilities of adding a few more guys that could be, helpful. Maybe another edge guy possibly. Looks like Brian Burns from Carolina saw something where he's possibly getting traded to, I can't remember the team, but the Giants. The Giants. Looks like he might be getting traded to Giants. They might be working something out, so that kind of takes that one out of the picture. But oh well, it is what it is. Looking forward to seeing what BJ Ojulari can do in his second year, having a full off season with this coaching staff. He kind of came in late. He did show some promise and showed some good things once he finally really got going. If we can put another solid pass rusher on the other side of him, and just add a couple more pieces in free agency in the draft, this defense could definitely look a hell of a lot better than it did last year, and that would be a great sign, because I think this offense is going to be, Kyler Murray's going to have a full offseason in this offense, in this system. He's going to be able to build that rapport with his receivers in the offseason. And the offense was already good, getting better each and every week when he came back, especially like those last few games of the year. He looks like that was when he finally started hitting his stride. And I don't care what people say. I know his record when he came back, they said is 3-5. To me, I'm counting it as fucking 4-4, because you know what? We didn't lose that last game in Seattle because of him. Prater hits one of those field goals. Kyler Murray's official record's 4-4. They did not lose that game because of Kyler. So it might be unofficial, but I'm saying he played well enough to be 4-4 when he came back from his ACL injury. You can disagree with me all you want. I really don't care. And I really believe, this coming draft, he's going to get his number one receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think everything is kind of aligned where they can get him at number 4. I know there's people kind of saying, trade back, get more picks. Everyone has their price. I'm sure Monty has his price, and I'm sure if some team comes to him and says, we're going to give you whatever that is, he would probably take it, because there's, again, we all have our price. But man, a guy that is that good, as just, you watch his tape, you watch his highlights, you hear about his work ethic, and he wants to be great. I can't help but think, man, this could be our next Larry Fitzgerald, a guy that's just going to be around forever, and he's just going to be a matchup nightmare for people. And I think Kyler Murray probably loved throwing to him, because the guy is 6'4", is super fast, runs great routes, has great hands, can go up and get that 50-50 ball. He doesn't have to be trying to throw to a bunch of 5'7", 5'8", 5'10" receivers, even though I love that they brought back Greg Dortch. I hope he is their starting slot receiver, because I think he has earned the right to be there, because anytime he has gone in, man, that dude has just balled out and played. And I'm glad to see they brought him back, and I hope, they finally just be like, you know what? I think the tape has spoken for itself when he's gotten his opportunities, whether it was with Cliff Kingsbury or last year. When he's been out there, he has made fucking plays. So I know everyone is in love with the Rondell Moore skill set, but Greg Dortch is just the better football player. I don't recall ever seeing, he probably has, but he rarely drops a damn pass. When it hits his hands, man, he catches it. If it's within his grasp, he catches, or he's going to do his damnedest to make sure he catches it. So I don't recall ever really seeing him drop a pass that he should have caught. So I know I'm getting kind of off topic from free agency today, but again, that was something they brought back as well. So no, I think they have a great opportunity if they, get a few more pieces in free agency. They nail this draft, because they need to nail this draft. If they get, their generational wide receiver, which everyone's calling him. I know it's not a sure thing, but I think he's as close to a sure thing as you can get. And you have a second first round at 27. You could, because this class is so deep in tackle, you could go and get your, left tackle, since, there is a hole there. You could go out there and get your left tackle, or, get one of these D linemen at 27, and get yourself a stud young defensive lineman to put in there as well, and then maybe get a tackle and with your second round pick. I don't know, there's so many different routes that they can go. It's definitely an exciting time to be a Cardinals fan. I know I'm excited. They played they had no business winning 4 games last year with the roster they had. They had no business being in pretty much all their games except for 2, the Browns game and the second 49ers game. Otherwise, they were in every game. And with the roster they had and playing the first half of the season without Kyler Murray, with Josh Dobbs, who to his credit played well, but as the season went on and teams started getting tape on him, he showed why he is a backup. Did the same thing in Minnesota. Started off hot there and then showed why he is a backup. So, again, they had no business even, I don't think, winning 4 games, the roster they had, and being competitive in pretty much all those games, but yet they did, and that goes to coaching. So if they can upgrade this roster, I think this coaching staff is going to be able to help take this team to the next level. I can't be more excited. I know I might sound like a homer Cardinal fan, but, if they wouldn't have done crap today, wouldn't have done shit as far as getting people or, nothing, I'd be on this podcast right now bashing the hell out of them and saying, what were you doing? Why you did absolutely nothing. You need to improve this roster. I'd be saying that kind of stuff, but it was signing 3 guys already and then so much more this free agency to go, with the possibility of maybe getting 1, 2, maybe even 3 more guys, and maybe 3 more guys. Is wishful thinking, but why not? Might as well shoot for the stars if we can, Anyways, I don't know, but yeah. I'm going to be starting putting these podcasts out more often. Kind of took a break from it for, pretty much a whole football season, but I want to be out here covering this team. I love football. I love this team. I've been watching this team for as long as I can remember. Putting out, more people putting out support for this team, I think is definitely a good thing. So, I'll definitely try to be out here every day, posting 1 video a day and talking about, everything Arizona Cardinals. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time I make a video. If you haven't already, hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time I decide to make a video. Have a good one. All right, so just a quick update. They actually made another signing on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker Mack Wilson. They signed him for a 3-year, $12.75 million deal, and he's coming from the Patriots. He had 82 total tackles last year, 1 interception, 4 tackles for loss, a couple QB hits, 7 passes defensed. So one of the things I said I wanted to see if they could get is another middle linebacker to put next to Kaiser. Looks like they did it. So 4 guys on the defensive side of the ball. They've filled so many holes today. Man, I'm not saying these are household great names, but you need a lot of these blue chip, blue collar type of guys that are going to go out there and just play ball and play hard. That's what you need. That's why they, we're so competitive, is they had those type of guys on this team. They went out there and played hard every single game, and looks like they're doing the same thing this year. They're not blowing their money on just 1 or 2 guys. They are bringing in bodies because that's what they need. And I think this defense already, just looking at it right now, just looking at it on paper, just looking at where the starters are going to be, who's going to be out there on defense, it's already looking 10 times better than it did last year. Man, I'm freaking excited. Again, anyways, guys, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys at the next video. Have a good one.